Good evening, everyone, and happy hump day again, February 15th, 2023. Hannah and I made it almost through Texas, and I've been to Texas before, so sightseeing was kind of important, but not real important. I've never been to New Mexico, so I can't wait to hit that state. But I want to go back to Oklahoma for a little bit. And I want to thank this sweet little couple and the people at, I believe the little restaurant, little burger place was called Brahms. They took such good care of us and they were so accommodating, giving us samples of ice cream. And Hannah was so excited and she loved their burgers. So if you ever get a Brahms burger, and I guess there's another one similar called Peter Pan that he originally started. But this little couple, her name is Linda with a Y, and Jeb, were so super duper sweet. So we shared some chit chat, and Hannah knew I was going to get long winded. So she sat down beside Linda on the floor with her head underneath the chair, like, Mom's going to talk for a little bit, so I might as well get comfortable. So thank you for sharing some of your life with me and her, and I'm glad that you were interested in hearing about ours. So, what was really interesting is I was talking to them about the weather, and I said, there's no doubt it was an act of God. And Jeb said, I said, well, did they say, how high the winds were yesterday? 85-mile-per-hour winds. No wonder my hood of my Jeep felt like it was going to be ripped right off. And a tornado was 100 miles per hour, is what he said. So, I haven't done any research on it. I'm just going to take what he says as fact and just keep moving forward. So we had an abrupt stop to our trip today because it was really odd driving through Texas. We stopped at several rest areas, but they really didn't have like a welcome center as a rest area. A little bit different than some of the other ones we went to. You would have literally had to get off the interstate in order to go to a tourist center, information center, whatever. And I wasn't wanting to do that. So, at least not today. So one of them that we stopped at was like where the Department of Transportation is, and it was amazingly beautiful. And they talked about, I call them windmills, but they're the turbines. I thought that's what they were called before, but I didn't want to misspeak them, so it was easier for me to just call them windmills. And it's really interesting after the whole act of God yesterday with the dust storm with 85-mile-per-hour winds, when we go from complete sunshine after the rain to all of that, was just completely shocking. So going through Amarillo was quite interesting because it had this huge black cloud hanging over it. And it just sat there. And then behind it, I could see this other really dark cloud formation. It was dark. And I was like, Lord. And then all of a sudden the sun comes out, starts beaming. I was like, Lord, okay, you're going to get us going. You tell us what, if we need to get off or whatnot. Well, it wasn't soon after Amarillo that we had to pull off because we got freezing sleet, rain. It was bad. I was like, yeah, no, we're not on a time schedule and it's time to stop. I'm not stressing myself out to get to another state when this is not weather to be driving in. So we pulled off. Well, our sign was exit 37. I'm a 3 girl, 333, Jeremiah 333, and 7 is a call from heaven on 7th, 7th heaven. So I was like, yep. So we start driving down the road, and I look and I was like, well, okay, we're just going to pull in here. And you could tell it was a locally owned, or you thought it was locally owned, mom and pop type of place. And I'm sure it is a mom and pop type of place, but the ethnicity was something I wasn't expecting. So I got out of my flip-flops because the temperature went from the almost 60s to the low 30s quickly. Like I was just going, whew, and I was like, yikes, I'm in flip-flops. I need to get my boots out. So when I walked in, she was talking to me this, that, and the other. And I said, do you mind if I ask what ethnicity you? She goes, I'm from India. I said, well, of course you are. Our number two out from you, like we have 19 different countries tuning into this YouTube channel that's called Heaven. It's not for us. It's for heaven. And the number two slot, the number one spot is the United States. Number two is India. And when I told her that, she was smiling from ear to ear. So I asked her what her name was, and she said her name was Ragu. And I was like, what a beautiful name. I said, what does that mean? And she said, music. And I said, well, my first name means Christmas, and my middle name, Renee, means reborn, rebirth. So we just shared this really cool conversation, and this room is just delightful. It's got a nice walk-in shower. I mean, it's beautiful for not anything spectacular on the inside, but it is really super nice on the inside, and it's affordable. So tomorrow, before we shove off, Hannah's going to get herself a bath because it's a nice shower that I can take her in, and she hasn't had a bath for February yet. So I'm like, perfect. So the Lone Star State, giddy up. Not my first rodeo through the state of Texas. So looking forward to see what tomorrow brings, but we are here until at least, well, we don't have to check out till 11, and I usually stay the entire time so I can get as much rest as I can. So just want to give you a quick update on our travels and where we are, because we're just trying to hit all the states in this blazing a trail to Jesus for Jesus on our trip to heaven when he calls us home. So hope you enjoy this. I'm going to dive into Geneva for a little bit and hopefully take a little bit of a cat nap. So remember, God is love. He loves you. Jesus loves you. And so does Hannah and I. Love to all bunches and bunches. Bye now.